hello. This is Pablo Arias with International Relocation Partner, and this is the Expat Community Podcast. And with me, my friend Jeremy Free. And before we go into details, Jeremy, please say hi, but then let me give a little introduction of what's the Expat Community and what we're trying to do. Say hi.
For sure. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for having me, Pablo, and look forward to our little discussion.
Okay, Jeremy. Just talk a little bit about Jeremy. Jeremy is a very active member of the expat community, the expat community in general. Since he was doing his research, he started joining and helping with one of the most popular expat groups in Facebook. And that's a lot of responsibility. That's also a huge, I will say, a huge way of learning everything and anything about Costa Rica. I mean, you get a lot of feedback, opinions, you get to ask questions. And Jeremy did that, but at the same time, he went ahead and start, helping managing these groups. And it's been now months, and I think he's ready for this conversation, and that's what I have in here. Before we go into a few questions that I have for Jeremy, I want to explain you guys the expat community. The expat community is a platform of resources for the newcomer, the investor, the expat who is looking to move abroad to a country like Costa Rica, Panama, Mexico, and some of the other most popular destinations. Please visit theexpatcommunity.com. Theexpatcommunity.com has a lots of useful information. We are doing this podcast. We are doing local news translated into English. We're also having Spanish classes. So if you are a newcomer looking to move to a country that speaks Spanish, you should start learning Spanish. So we have all of these free resources, and we have a book coming soon. I'll say the next 90 days we'll have the book ready and available for you guys to purchase. A book is for Costa Rica, so the Expat Community book will be for Costa Rica, the first of our books. And basically what we're doing with the book is we are putting all the knowledge we can possibly put together as a simple and easy to read guide for you guys if you're looking to move to Costa Rica. So that's another thing that we're doing, and we're going to be selling this book in Amazon, and the money that is going to get collected is going to get into a non-profit for whatever different things, non-profits in Costa Rica. So we want to also, we believe in the potential of helping people move abroad and move to Costa Rica, but that as well should make a big contribution to the local communities and Ticos and Costa Ricans. So this book is going to be one way of doing that. So that's many things we're doing. One more thing, we are also doing meetups. So the first meetup will be in December the 7th in Tamarindo. We are doing this at the Surf Shack with a good friend, another customer of ours who we helped move from Canada to Costa Rica, Roxana Bonono and Pete Bonono. They own the Surf Shack right almost across to the ocean. So we're gonna basically wait for the sunset, listen to live music on December the 7th, and do a little meetup. That would be amazing. And that's a good kind of summary of what's the expat community. And in this community, we're looking to interview people like Jeremy, people like you, who is another expat. If you want to share your expat experience, just reach out to us. We want to talk to you, and we believe you have a lot to say and a lot of experience for the newcomer. Now, Jeremy, can you please briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your experience and what is that you are doing now in Costa Rica?
Well, my name is Jeremy, and my wife is Nicole. We've been here for, what is it now? 9 months, I guess it is now, right about. We've experienced a lot in 9 months. A lot more we can go into later, but it's been an experience, good and bad, and we decided that through that good and bad experience that, as you said, I started with the communities before I even got to Costa Rica. It really became, serious for me during research, trying to find answers, and then digging and combing through the people who just want to speak and the people who actually know and the people who actually care about you and not just giving you answers to give you answers. And after everything we've learned and been through, we really wanted to, be more of a help to the expat community, to really give, our experiences and what we've done, what we've learned, like I said, good and bad, just to help people kind of get a better understanding before they come or even when they're already here. So really we're doing anything and everything we can to connect expats with the correct people, because that's one of the things that we've learned is the most crucial step of being here, living here, having a business here. It's really having the right people who are in your corner, the ones who you can actually trust, to have your back and to help you move forward with your expectations, your goals, and everything like that. So that's what we've decided to do, is to really try and help the expat community in really any way that we can.
Now, you mentioned business, and before we go, you mentioned business. I think it's a lot. For years I have been interviewing newcomers and people who, they're doing something in Canada, they're doing something in United States, but they now want to move to Costa Rica, and they're looking for a business to start. My personal opinion is, if you ask me, that's kind of more easy to say than done. It's complex. I mean, operating a business is hard. Even if you're living in your neighborhood and everybody knows you, it's hard. Like,
Right.
I don't know where you guys are coming from, whoever is listening, but I think whatever you are, if you're thinking about, just going to open a business, it's going to be a challenge. It's just in general. Now, if you think about opening a business abroad into a different culture, different logistics, different, everything is a little bit different. That's gotta be a challenge. My first instinct about setting up businesses, I'm not setting up a business in Costa Rica. In fact, my business is based in Costa Rica. That's how it started, but we moved as soon as possible to opening an LLC and a corporation and banking in the United States, because that's I'll say, government and regulation that is easier to handle and manage, even for me as a Costa Rican. So we are now having, corporations in different countries, but I think it's easier when somebody handles the business out of the U.S. with U.S. bank accounts. Not every
Right.
business is possible. Some businesses are, especially if you have a brick and mortar location, that means that you have to comply with local regulations. But there are so many businesses out there that you can probably run online. And what is your take on your experience of setting up a business in Costa Rica? I know you have some experience right now.
I mean, you're right on the money with that. It's not only is it people have more knowledge of American United States, United States law and the way the businesses work and how they're supposed to operate, the legality of stuff. They understand that more. People who, if you operate a business out of Costa Rica and it's something, let's say online, where transfers have to be made, money has to be sent. It's a little bit more offsetting and makes people a little bit more uneasy sending money to a country that they don't quite fully grasp the monetary system or the business structure, the legality of everything. That's one thing I've noticed. I opened restaurants in North and South Carolina. That's what I did before I came here. And opening restaurants there was hard, but simple. You know what I mean? Like, I understood, a lot of my schooling was law related. I was a paralegal for 5+ years. So I understood the legality, the banking. I understood kind of the way things worked. And then coming here, you think you understand it, but it is very, very different on all sides, the legal side, the banking side, the we were talking before about, contracts, having clear cut contracts is important, but even that can be tough sometimes here. It's a very different, you can have a strong understanding where you're from and then come here and realize that what definitely helps, but it's not all about what either. It's about what you're willing to learn. You're willing to accept that you make a mistake, because if you can come here and not make a mistake opening a business, then awesome. Props to you, because I mean, that's, I can't say that nobody can do it, because I can't speak for everybody, just myself. I was good at what I did, and coming here made me realize I needed to learn more of the culture, more of the, things that hours and hours and hours of research, days of research online and asking the communities just doesn't get you. You don't really get the full understanding until you're, boots on the ground here. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I've learned.
I'm a student. I'm a student of businesses. There is,
Right.
you go to Amazon, to the bookstore, you're gonna find probably thousands of businesses. I mean, probably thousands of books about business in general.
Right.
You go Audible, I listen to these books all the time, and amazing. You have all this theory, but there is not a single book about how to run and operate a business in Costa Rica. I don't think there is one.
I don't think you can
not
make
even
one.
in English.
I don't think anybody could make one. I don't think it's capable to write a book that really prepares you.
That's one thing. The other thing is, even if there is a book for this, it's nothing like practice. There's nothing like the experiences. You guys do not have an idea how many times I have failed. I have lost a big account, a big customer, and how many times I have to reinvent my approach of doing business in Costa Rica. So the expectations of coming to a new country to just start a business, I think it's almost like crazy. I mean, it's almost not being realistic. So I'm sorry to say that, but I have to say it that way. It's just
no, yeah. I agree with you. That's definitely, especially coming without having the right, like it all goes back to knowing the right people to help you with the right thing. You really don't know until you really start meeting people, who's there. So if you are I say come start a business, but come get settled, or have the right people, have the right, have everything kind of understood before you just jump in and try and do it right off the plane. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a big thing too, is having the right people.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to learn from setting up businesses. There's a lot to learn about that. But I think what people need to do first look at all of the opportunities to make money where you're coming from. That's going to be the easiest way. If I wanted to go on and make some money right now, I'm new into a country, the first thing I'll probably do is, how can I keep the income that I'm already making where I'm coming from? If it's possible, can I get a job online in my companies? Yep. Maybe you already have a job. Maybe you know what I mean. And maybe you guys are tired of that. Maybe you're moving to Costa Rica because you wanna have a switch. That's completely understandable. But you need to understand is there is many other very complex tasks that people need to do. So, and on top of that, figuring out how to create income in a new country, that's just going to make it the perfect, wild storm. So the first advice I could probably think of if I'm moving to Costa Rica, and I see many, is keep your job, get it, make it online, negotiate something. There are now many companies that are willing to provide, jobs online. So find something that is online. If you find a decent job online, especially if you're coming out of a big city like California or New York or Massachusetts or these big cities where the cost of living is really, really high, you get a job online, even if it's a little less money, then you're going to feel that Costa Rica is not that expensive. It's a little bit less expensive. Now, if you're living in a very inexpensive town or city, maybe North Carolina is less expensive. No.
No, I mean, of course it is. Yeah, but that's what always throwing me for a curve when I come here and I see people talking about how expensive it is, it's because you're still choosing to live that way. It's you. And I feel like there's many places you can go and you can make it expensive, but it's comparatively to Charlotte, North Carolina, it's really you have give and take on expenses, and you have give and take on what you want to give and take personally on. So it's I'm with you on that though. I mean, you can live for less here for sure.
So that's one way. And after you do the transition, you find a place You already budget your life. You already know, where to buy your groceries, where you're living. After all those things, then you can, look into doing a business, doing and operating the
Right.
business, a business. That would be my approach, because once
Yeah.
you get into opening a business, that's like an entire gigantic project that you're taking in. And believe me, just moving abroad is a very complex task. Looking for a house is
Yeah.
complex. Buying a local vehicle is complex. Finding all of those providers and resources, all of that is just a huge task. And on top of that, be able to set up a business, find a place to operate the business, hiring people, and getting to know just all of those about. It's just a difficult thing.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult thing. Now, can you tell?
All of it.
Yeah, no, I
Everything
know,
that
and this
comes
is
with,
why
there's a
we're
lot
talking
more
about
that
this,
comes with it
because
that people don't understand.
because it's it's not impossible. I'm just
Right.
saying, you don't want to get five different big gigantic projects at once. Like,
Right.
it's like if you're going, okay, it's like, okay, I'm going into college. Maybe somebody's going into college, and then, are you going to study what? Oh, are you going to study law, or are you going to be a doctor, medicines? And then you say, no, I'm doing the two at the same time. I'm just deciding to take two
Double
gigantic
major.
projects at once. I'll say it's a good idea for you to take it little by little,
Yeah.
step by step, and get to learn. And once you're local here, and then you get to experience more of the life, then you get to understand, your value. You get to understand what is that you're good, better than anybody else. What else can you bring to the local market? What is your value? Uh, so you may come from many different industries. When you get here, it looks like you have the value, but then you realize there is many other things you can do that could provide a lot of value. Now, can you tell me now a little bit more about Costa Rica Expat Inside Tours?
So that it goes back really to everything that we've been discussing now is making sure that it's a company my wife and I decided to start, that we really want to make sure that expats have all the information they need before coming. We were moved here with the help of people, and there were some things that we felt like we should have known and we didn't. Not saying there was any nefarious, nothing malicious, nothing. It's just personally from experience. That's how we want to help people. And you know how we are. We're not sugarcoaters. We don't really. I'm not good at lying and making, putting on false personas. I'm just going to tell you how it is. And I feel like a lot of people do want that. So our goal is to make sure people get connected with the right people, like yourself. If they need to ship stuff, Pablo. If they, when it comes to the physical relocating, Sarah Elena. You know what I mean? That's our goal, is really to get people to the right places. And then when they're unsure about where in Costa Rica they want to get to, we want to provide the tours. Comes from, we're not an adventure tour. We're not going to take you zip lining. We're not going to take you whitewater rafting. We're going to take you to show you where the hospitals are. We're going to show you where housing is. We're going to show you, all of those type things, different cities, different towns, that after a questionnaire that we give you, you fill out, and we get a better idea of what you're looking for. Then we give you tours of the areas that you're interested in. That way, when you get here, you don't show up and you're like, oh crap, I have 3 old dogs. I need a vet. The closest vet is 2 hours away. It's those small things that you don't think about, medical care for certain people. Just the main goal is we see a lot of people getting not mistreated, but a lot of people not getting the right information. And I see that being here and knowing, it's a lot of people sugarcoat it, and they make it seem
I
rainbows
like
and
to.
sunshine.
I wanna just give it another name. I want to give it another name, just to be a little bit more, I'll say, nice. Yes, for years. I mean, for years. I've been doing this for 14 years, and for years I have noticed there is always somebody that will sugarcoat the process. They will just, yeah, Costa Rica is amazing. You're not gonna, you're gonna. You see these, articles.
Oh
You
yeah.
can live in
Oh
Costa
yeah.
Rica for like $1,000 a month. I mean, I pay more than that in rent.
Oh
Just
yeah.
just my child support is more than that. so, so, so the point here is that's one angle that I think if I getting you if I'm understanding you is you want to eliminate that, you want to stay away from that. But there is another very important angle, and I try to do the same thing with my shipping business, and I try to not. Sometimes I don't take jobs. I say, well, we're not the best fit for you. What you're
Right.
trying to do is not possible. But somebody told me it's possible. I understand, but me, my name, my reputation, my company's name is not gonna be involved with something that we know legally is impossible,
Right.
because we are not just selling because we want to sell. We are selling to operate, and we are operating to exceed your expectations. We were doing it because we want to have a good reputation within the community. So there is another angle to it. Sugarcoating is one negative side that you see for years. People just, promising, the wonder and beautiful lands of Costa Rica, like everything is, a walk in the park.
Right.
But the other issue I noticed, and especially, I mean, you admin one of the largest expat groups in Costa Rica. A lot of people give advice based on personal opinions. So that's a huge deal. That's a huge deal that we need to be careful and we need to try to avoid. You know, when you said to me, we make a personalized tour, we give you a form, you fill out, you give me your details, and we try to understand, and we give you advice, and we set up this tour based on your particular needs. That's a completely different approach. It's
Right.
not just, okay, yeah, I'm moving to Costa Rica. Should I ship my Mercedes Benz, or should I ship? Hold on. I mean,
Right.
for hundreds of people, shipping the Mercedes Benz could be a horrible idea,
Right.
because we all know the reasons. The parts may not be available. Maybe a vehicle that is too fancy. For many reasons. But there is a large percentage of people who be willing to import a luxurious car because they wanna live that lifestyle.
Right.
They understand that there is an additional cost. They are already, showing a nicer car, wherever they live, whatever they're coming from. So a lot of what I'm trying to say, a lot of it is opinions, and I think
Right.
our job. I mean, is it my job telling you, yeah, maybe you shouldn't ship, you know, this art, because if it gets here, this is gonna happen. Is my job. There is a fine line where I give advice and I kind of present the two options. If you bring that, this could be the risk. If you do that, if it's not illegal with customs, you can ship it. If you know what I mean. But
Right.
a lot of
Just
people
the
ask us,
respect
and
that
we
you
are
have.
happy. We are happy to give advice on our personal opinion, but
Right.
we try to give you, this and this. So everybody is a little bit different. Everybody, so it's not the same dealing with somebody that is from Ontario or Quebec in Canada. That's middle class, maybe self-made, construction builder who owns his
Right.
own business, than talking to somebody in Silicon Valley that is out of the tech industry, that his idea of living the dream is a different idea, and they may wanna have a fancy electric Tesla, which is a really expensive vehicle, and the other guy may just have a pickup truck, and that's
Right.
everybody's a little bit different. You don't. So I think your approach is very interesting, because making things tailored and explaining the good and the bad and letting the customer decide, I think that's our job. And
Right.
a lot of the things I see in the groups is people need to understand it's just personal opinion, and personal opinion is not everything. It's just half of everything. It's not even half of everything. So that's my thought. Maybe it's not like people sugarcoating things. Maybe it's just the personal opinion of somebody else.
Right.
Somebody thinks, oh, it's cheap
Right.
because somebody may live with $300 a month, or $1,000 a month, but I bet
And
you
everybody
many
has
people
different
won't.
expectations too. So like when you say, when somebody says, oh, their opinion is, oh, this person was fantastic, it worked out great. Their expectation might be here. Somebody else's might be here. So then when they hear this person was great, it might not meet their expectations, which therefore they don't. That's why candidness and being so open and clear and understanding from the beginning of what's expected and what's wanted is so important with any kind of work, as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion. Because if you're on the same page, it makes things a heck of a lot easier down the road of figuring out how to work together. The expectation thing's the largest. I think we spoke about that last time we talked. Expectations is the most common word that I hear, of what needs to be done.
There is something else that I think is very interesting, that is a little bit more hidden, things people do not talk about, things people in doing business. I think this is in general, regardless of where you're coming from. I noticed there is a good service provider in Costa Rica. I noticed there's some contractor, he builds houses, he's good. I see this happening in Costa Rica, I see this happening in Panama, I see this happen in many places where there is a good guy, good name, he's building houses, yes. He's taking orders, he's meeting with new customers. He's okay, this is a $300,000 project. Good. When should we start? We start in May. Bang, got 1, 2, 3, and they grow and grow, and then his execution capabilities are not. He's not designed. His business is not designed to take on 10 builds, 10 houses. He's not designed.
He can't be hands-on.
So this is very interesting to understand. A lot of people recommend, this attorney, and that's good if it's a very popular attorney. Even if you get a lot of recommendations, even with my company, you need to understand the infrastructure of the business who you are doing business with. If you're getting a lot of referrals from this particular provider, do you have an office? Asking, do you have an office? How many employees do you have? Okay, no, it's just me. I'm doing everything and I subcontract. It can give you an idea of the level of risk, because just one little mistake, on a $300,000 project could mean that company is gonna go broke, and right. It could be that way, because that person does not have the infrastructure. The solid infrastructure is required to take that many jobs. And I see great names, great reputation here today, and then tomorrow they disappear very quickly. And it's one of those things that it's not just a great name, a good referral, but also trying to understand what type of business you're doing business with, and maybe perhaps you have a very small project. This may be a small little fixing your house, painting your house, maybe only $1,000. Your risk is not as much. Okay, maybe you could be a little bit more relaxed. But when you're dealing with big ticket projects, an international move, $5,000, $8,000, $15,000. When you're doing things that are big time projects, then it's good to understand who you're dealing with, if they have an infrastructure, if they have offices, if they have a warehouse. All of those things I think are an important thing that people just they don't talk about it. They just say, well, Pablo is Pablo, and then these other guys, they've been here for a while, but that's it. So that's another little tip out there. Anything you want to add?
No, I'm on the same page with you. I 100% agree with everything you're saying. For sure.
Well, our time is up. It's been 30 minutes. I thought we were going to make this for like 10 minutes, and it's
no worries.
For us to go. But we are going to hit right now the Spanish classes online. We're about to get on another live. This is going to be a live. So yeah, every Wednesday at 3:30 Costa Rica time, 4:30 Panama time, and depending on where you are, we are offering these free Spanish classes for the community. I believe in creating value, not just adding little more ads. Everybody's doing ads. Anybody could do a podcast. Anybody could write a blog, but we want to build value. Like nobody else will give you Spanish classes. Nobody else will, connect and do networking meetings. So creating big value for you guys in the expat community. So that's it for today. Thank you so much, Jeremy, and I hope to see you more often on this recording, so we can talk more about your business and about your experience of living here in Costa Rica. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.